chow mein is one of our favorite Chinese dishes, and today we're making it at home. We found these fresh noodles at Trader Joe's, so today we're testing them out and we'll let you know how they rank compared to other noodle options. They have a recipe on the back for sesame scallion noodles, so we're going to start with their sauce recipe and show you how we turn it into the best homemade chow mein. We're also going to add a bunch of fresh vegetables to add additional texture and flavor, and make this a complete meal. This is a one-pan recipe. It's going to come together quick, so take a second to subscribe to our channel, drop us a like, and let us know where you're watching from. And come hang out in the kitchen with us while we make some delicious homemade chow mein. So first, let's check out these Trader Joe's noodles. We have used lots of different kinds of noodles for homemade chow mein before: dried chow mein noodles, fresh noodles from a specialty Asian market, even spaghetti noodles. So we're curious to see how these will stack up texturally. The box comes with 3 7-ounce packages, which is awesome if you're just cooking for 1 or 2 people. For our hungry family of 4 though, we're going to go ahead and use all 3 packages. The sauce recipe that they have on the back is for 1 package, so we'll be tripling that. To make our sauce, we'll combine 1/3 cup of soy sauce. We like to use low sodium soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of sesame oil, 3 tablespoons of rice vinegar, half a tablespoon of coconut sugar. You could use regular sugar if you like. We just happen to have the coconut sugar right now, which we also got at Trader Joe's in case you're looking for it. In our opinion, coconut sugar is one of the better sugar replacements to cane sugar. If you are wanting to try something less processed, another would be raw honey. Coconut sugar is dry and granulated like cane sugar with a toasted flavor. I do find it to be a bit less sweet than cane sugar though, so if you use cane sugar in this recipe, you could try using a bit less. We'll also add half a tablespoon of sea salt. We'll just give those a quick stir to dissolve and mix everything together, and our sauce is ready to go. Alright, so kind of following the recipe on the noodle box, we'll mince some garlic. It calls for 1 teaspoon of minced garlic per pack of noodles, so we're going to do a tablespoon for all 3 packs, which will be about 6 cloves. I find an average clove of garlic is about half a teaspoon. Smash them, peel them, mince them, and set them aside. The box also calls for fresh ginger, but we don't have any of that today, so we're just going to skip that, but you could of course add it if you like it and have it. Next, for our aromatics, we'll be using green onions as the box calls for, but I'm also going to use a small yellow onion. I like to just halve it and slice it lengthwise. I love the texture that it adds to chow mein and stir fries. Next, we'll prep those green onions we mentioned. Now, according to the box recipe, we should be using about 3/4 cup of green onions, or scallions, whatever you want to call them. But these 3 are all I have today, the last lonely green onions in our fridge. But you know what? I think they're going to be just perfect, especially since we're adding the yellow onion too. I like to leave the green onions in larger 1 to 2 inch pieces rather than chopping them up for chow mein. I try to cut everything up how I envision it being from our local Chinese restaurant. Makes it feel more authentic. Alright, now here's where we really start to go rogue from the box ingredients. I like to pack our chow mein with vegetables, so we're going to add some celery. Again, great crunch just like that yellow onion. I'm using 3 stalks and just slicing them on a diagonal. We'll also add some carrot, which I'll peel first. I always save the carrot peels for our pets. Our rabbit, puppies, chicken, all love them. Then I like to cut these julienne using this little julienne knife type tool. I love the little matchstick pieces it makes, just perfect like from the Chinese restaurant. I just get as much of the carrot as I can. Then I'll just give the rest to our little furry carrot lovers. And I'll cut our julienne carrots into 1 to 2 inch pieces. Next, I'm going to throw in some bell pepper. I have half of a red bell pepper I pulled out of the fridge, so that'll work perfect. Now the julienne tool won't really work for a bell pepper so easily, so I just cut it into thin strips. Then into the 1 to 2 inch pieces like our carrots. We're also going to add some broccoli today, not something you necessarily find in most chow mains, but it adds great color and nutrition, and it really works well together. Think of having beef broccoli with your chow mein, we're just leaving out the beef. Although you could totally add meat to this recipe. Beef, chicken, or shrimp would be excellent. This bag of broccoli florets is from Costco. It's all washed and broken down, so it's super easy. I'm just going to grab a few handfuls for our chow mein, and maybe cut any big pieces in half just so they're all bite-sized and will cook in the same amount of time. And that's it, our prep is all done. Look at this beautiful array of veggies we have to round out our chow mein. All right, it's time to get cooking. I have a large skillet over a medium heat, and I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of oil. Then once that oil is hot, we'll toss in our broccoli first because it's going to take the longest to cook. By the way, this is my favorite utensil to use on our enameled cookware like this pan. I use it so much you can barely see the name on there anymore, but the brand is Epicurean. They're wood composite utensils. They're super durable and dishwasher safe too. This flat-edged one is my favorite because it can really get to the bottom of the pan better than a spoon for sautéing and making sure everything gets tossed around. So we'll give this broccoli a couple minutes head start, just until it doesn't look raw anymore. We're not trying to cook it all the way yet. I like to cover it between stirring just to help it along by steaming it a bit. Next, we'll add in our bell pepper. I like to cook down the bell pepper a bit more than the carrots and onions, so I'm going to give it an extra minute before we add in the others. All right, and then we'll add in everything else: our carrots, celery, green onion, and yellow onion. All the little things we want to cook just a little bit to keep them nice and crunchy to add that freshness to our chow mein. So we'll just let this cook a minute or two or until the veggies are done to your liking. Other vegetables we often add to our homemade chow mein include cabbage and mung bean sprouts. If there's other ingredients you enjoy in your chow mein, we'd love to hear your ideas, so drop them in the comments. Then we're going to transfer these cooked veggies to a plate and set them aside for just a minute while we get our noodles and sauce. So returning our same pan back to the stovetop, I'll add a bit more oil just to make sure our noodles don't stick. And then we'll go in with our garlic, just going to give it 30 seconds or so until it's nice and fragrant. Make sure your heat isn't up too high because that garlic can burn pretty quickly. Then in go all our noodles. Now this is our first time using these noodles, so I tried to see first if I could just pan fry them a little bit before adding the sauce. However, they were really sticking together and they just didn't really want to break apart without liquid. So I went ahead and just abandoned that idea and added the sauce we mixed up. Then immediately those noodles started to separate nice and easily. So we'll give our noodles a toss and let them simmer in that sauce for a couple minutes. One of the things I love about these noodles is that they don't need to be boiled before using them. They can go straight into the pan fry, which makes them super convenient. Once the sauce has mostly absorbed into our noodles, we'll toss back in our veggies. Give it a good mix. And now the time has come, the taste test. So flavor-wise, I think it has plenty of salt. Actually, I would maybe even do slightly less salt next time, but I feel like it needs a little something to round out the flavor. So I'm going to add some oyster sauce. We use oyster sauce a lot in our homemade stir fries. It has a wonderful, slightly sweet umami flavor. I wanted to try the box recipe as is first, but after trying it, I definitely think it could benefit from a drizzle of oyster sauce. I'm probably adding a couple tablespoons. Toss it all together, and now our chow mein is perfect and ready to serve. It has tons of flavor. It's not dry or liquidy. The perfect amount of sauce, and these noodles have a great texture. Just as good as any fresh noodle I've gotten from an Asian market, and far better than any dried noodle for sure. They have that characteristic chewiness you'd expect from a good chow mein noodle, and I love the convenience. I can find them at my local Trader Joe's, and they're shelf stable. So these are a big win for me. I will definitely be getting them again. If you make this recipe at home, I would love to hear how it turns out for you and if you make any changes to suit your taste. For more easy and delicious family favorite recipes like this, make sure you're subscribed to our channel. We'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day and happy home cooking!